강원랜드에서도 이제 공식 온라인 앱을 운영하고 있습니다. 바로 설치하실 수 있고 현재 신규 회원분들은 300%의 복연후 고수와 무료 스핀 300개 획득까지 받을 수 있습니다.
So what we have to do is go a few steps ahead. And what you can see in this picture is that we're sliding the back in place, which means the slot has to be below the plain rectangular piece, which is piece B. Since my slot is back here, piece B has to go there. It also doesn't tell you how it connects. This is where putting projects together like this, after a while you get used to the hardware. So what we're going to do is screw this into the flat piece, the base, and then this piece goes into that right there. And when they go together, that fits in. You give this a turn with the screwdriver and it'll tighten them down. There was a little piece of plastic there and you want to take that off, cut it away or pick it away because you want to make sure that this lies flat. So on that piece, you're going to see an arrow. Let me take it out, if I can get it out now. But that can spin around and round. Okay? And you want to make sure that the little arrow that's on there is pointing down. Otherwise, that hole won't line up. So you put that on like that, and then we give that a turn, and now that's tight. That's all there is to it. Very common fastening device that you're going to find when you put these types of projects together. I'm going to do that same thing on this piece right here. Put that in, with the arrow pointing down. You probably can't see that, but the arrow is pointing down, little arrow on there. And then put that on. Now tighten it up. So this piece is done. This wiggles a little bit, but I'm not worried about it because when we screw the sides on, that will tighten it up. Now the next instruction says I'm supposed to put this end on here and screw it into the top, the middle shelf, and the bottom. There's two pieces that look almost alike. Which one do I put there? Well, I know this is wrong because this has a groove and that has a groove and they aren't lining up. So if I put that in, and you can see those grooves line up, so that's going to be, when the back piece slides in, it'll notch in very cleanly there. So I'm going to line up the other two pieces, and then we'll put screws in from the far end. Now I like to put all the screws in very loosely before I tighten everything down to make sure it's all lined up. So I'm going to put these screws in first to get that top shelf lined up, and then I'm going to line up the second shelf. Okay, so I have all of those screws started. I'll tighten those up, and then we're going to move down to this end. One step at a time. You have to make sure everything fits. I think that's a pretty important pointer. These pieces, although they're cheaply made, they can look really good and be really strong if you take your time putting them together. Sometimes the holes don't line up perfectly, so always loose fit them and slowly go around the whole thing. I have 5 screws, or 4 screws there. So I'm not going to tighten one down and then tighten the next 3. I'm going to move around them in a pattern, tightening, 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 maybe adjust a little bit, move it so it's lined up just the way I wanted. Then I tighten it down and you'll be really happy with the results. Also be very careful. These are really coarse threads, and the fiberboard these are made out of can be stripped very easily. Be careful how tight you make this, Make it so it's snug and no tighter. If it's wobbly, tighten it a little bit, but don't go overboard, or you could strip out the hole that this is made out of. And then there's solutions, but it's going to be kind of tricky to solve